So Vikings.com put out a top 10 takeaways from spring practices, and I want to talk about it, but make sure you stick around. I got something important to tell you. You're going to like it. Hello, Viking fans. I'm going to do a giveaway. I want to describe it to you. I'm going to give away $100 worth of merchandise of your choosing. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, 75 if I get to 750, 50 if I get to 500, 25 if I get to 250. I'm going to choose one person from an episode. So I'm going to choose an episode, and I'm going to choose one person as long as they're liked, subscribed, and commented. And you can do multiple comments, multiple entries. You can actually go back to my old videos and do that too. Those will be eligible. Now, I'm going to choose that on game day against the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to choose one. Hopefully, it's $100, and I have 1,000 subscribers. Skol Vikes. Welcome to Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter at SkoWorld and at MN Sports Podcast. You can even follow me on Facebook, SkoWorld. Now, let's get started. So, Vikings.com put out a pretty important article, and there's some really good quotes in there. And I want to take the time to go through the top 10 list, top 10 takeaways from Minnesota's off-season workout schedule. Now, number one has O'Connell thankful for the high participation. So everybody is participating. Only non-football non-participation was Harrison Smith, who had took time off for the birth of his child. So high participation rate. These players are bought in. They want to impress the coaches. Of course, we got high participation. It's pretty normal. Every time we've had a new coach, we've had high participation, but that's just a positive. Now, O'Connell's focused on the neck up, and he's the mental reps, the getting the offense down. He's quoted as, "Everything we do will have purpose, but we'll also are going to work, and when we work, we're going to really compete, and we're going to push these guys." The way this offseason is set up, it's great. It's phenomenal work. You can stress them above the neck. You can get the reps. You can get a lot of great tape to watch. But in the end, we have to make our football team tough. We have to make sure that they can understand how to compete, not only in situational football, but how we want to go apply pressure in all three phases. So he's really focused on the mental side of the game. And I think that's where we lacked. And I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me on that the past two seasons. We just couldn't finish games, especially last season. We had the team. We had the players. We just couldn't finish. Of course, the defense really lagged behind. But 3 and outs would do that to a defense. Not to give them too much credit. They weren't that great. And we had injuries. But our offense could have nailed down the game a few times, and we could have easily been a 12-win team last year. Now, carefully competitive. This is a quote from O'Connell. "We did some 2-minute drill practice in the last few days where we were full speed, and you guys saw in the past game with the back seven, the skilled players, but those guys up front, the O-line, and the rush, just to avoid being around the quarterback, they reduced that just to be able to let us go get our work in. We'll have plenty of time to find out where our pass rush is at, to find about the ability to protect full speed, and it'll be a great work because I feel really good about both the offensive line and the defensive front and their ability to rush and play the pass. So it's really a matter of working the situations." So what they were doing is they were going full speed on 7-on-7 drills, but on 11-on-11, they were letting the interior line play at half speed, basically, and that was widely reported. Probably a smart move. We'll see. Rest for vets equals reps for younger players. This is pretty common in the NFL, and O'Connell's been around. This is not his first season. Veterans get some rest, and they know the drill. They have kept themselves in shape. And, they're getting a little bit older. They're nursing some injuries. Some have multiple surgeries over the years. It is good to get that rest in before you hit camp. And you'll see off days in camp. They'll get rested too. The whole team approach. Here's a quote from O'Connell. I want to be right there. This is number 5, whole team approach. I want to be right there, really anywhere, any position on our team, because whether I leave it to the position coach or I just want to be involved, it truly is about them being aware that I'm around because I care. I want them to know that I know their roles and their responsibilities. Now, that is awesome. That is something I don't think we had ever. And I think it's great. He's really involved. He wants to know what the other side's doing. He wants them to know that he's bought into the defense, unlike Zimmer, who wasn't bought into the offense. It was almost like a nuisance he had to deal with. And I was a Zimmer fan when he came in. I thought he changed our defense around, but the last 2 years, he just had to go. We knew he had to go, and it's a refreshing change that we got a guy coming in, just being the head coach, being involved with the whole team, have them bought in the team building exercises they've been doing, uh, outside of practice. Everything is showing how much better the players feel about this team, and it's starting to show, especially when they're talking to the media. Positive carryover in the passing game. Now, Thielen's been balling out. Even Jalen Naylor's had a couple outstanding catches in practice, as it's been reported. A couple guys have been nursing injuries, like ISM and KJ Osborne. Hopefully they come back, soon from that. Nothing serious, I don't think. ISM looked a little more serious. We might not see him till the preseason. Now, so everybody's really excited about the receiving core. And I think McCardle says, that's the receivers coach, every year is a new year. Don't rest on your laurels. Come out and be a different person. There is a reason why the receivers stood up for this man to keep his job. He's one. I don't know any other outstanding coach that got to keep his job. You can correct me in the comments. But as far as a lead position coach, he was the only one, from my understanding. So it's awesome to hear that, and there's a reason why we kept him around and why the players wanted to keep him too. Positive trajectory. I can't spit it out. For tight ends, that's good to hear. I hope so. I think we're pretty shallow at tight end. I really hope Irv Smith Jr. It sounds like he's been practicing fully. That's great. I really want to see these guys stand out. And we've had luck. We've had backup tight ends really play well, and we've just been very lucky with that. With undrafted free agents or low round picks stepping up when we needed them. Now, D and Z formed dynamic duo. That's Daniellehunter and Zadarius Smith. Here's a quote. Long before we really got going, when we were bringing Zadarius in to potentially sign him, I know Danielle and him had been communication. And when you have a position coach like Mike Smith, he demands it. The room is as close-knit as any position group on our team for a reason. That's awesome. I think it's really important that that these guys have gelled so well, and they knew each other beforehand. I think Daniellehunter and Mike Pettin had a big to do about getting Zadarius Smith to back out of the Ravens contract and the verbal commit and coming to the Minnesota Vikings. Number 9, competition remains at right guard. So a lot have been said about the right guard position. I think Chris Reed's going to take it over from Jesse Davis, but Jesse Davis stayed at right guard when we didn't have a backup center. So Chris Reed took snaps, and that's good, because if we lose Garrett Bradbury, it would be great if we could move Chris Reed into center. I really hope Bradbury pulls it together this year. He hasn't done so. He hasn't proved anything to us. There's a lot of worry about this position, and they're really showing confidence in him, and hopefully he's added 10 pounds. If for some reason we draft him at 306, he cuts weight all the way to 295. He played at that weight last year. It's undersized for any offensive lineman these days. And he says he put on 10 pounds of muscle. He's always been athletic, so hopefully that adds to his anchor and doesn't deter his movement at all. Ending with the kicking. So we just recently let Burkett go. He was our undrafted free agent, and Joseph has taken over with no competition now. But Joseph was looking solid, so and Burkett wasn't, so they let him go. Now those are 10 things that Minnesota Vikings wanted you to know about their offseason, our offseason practices so far. There has been nothing but positives coming out of these practices. The only issue is, a couple of injuries, and hopefully they're not season ending. I don't think so. Just some nagging injuries. ISM probably the only serious one that he's going to miss some time. And then I believe we lost a defensive lineman, but he never got to play much anyways for the year, and he's stashed on the IR. Now, name escapes me. Willikis. Yeah, Willikis got put on the IR for the season, and he passed waivers. So that's it. That's Minnesota Sports Talk. Remember, I'm running that deal. If I get to 1,000 subscribers on the first game of the season, give away 100, 750, 75, 550, 250. I give $25. Hopefully we get to 1,000, so I give 100. I want to give back to you guys. Thanks for listening. If you stuck this long, make sure you click like so you can enter the contest. And you have to have subscribed, and you leave a comment. Put skull. I don't care. Just go down there and type in skull. The more times you comment, the more entries you have. I will pick one episode, one person. Multiple comments means multiple entries. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.